Okay, so we're here again in the gacha space with global looking like it's about to be treated as a second class citizen. Once again, it's nothing new if you've been in the gacha space for a while. But we're here again, this time with Black Beacon. If you didn't know, guys, when this game launched, it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough. I actually reacted to a video the other day and was going to upload it about the worst launches in gacha history, and this was actually on the list. It was a little bit rough, right? From performance to black screens to crashes to not just being able to literally log into the game to only being available on the Google Play beta on PC, which for a lot of people sucks. A real shame. The control scheme not being great, even in full screen, the game not actually being in full screen, a lack of proper customizable keybinds for a game that obviously was intended to be on PC through the Google Play emulator. Hopefully we do get a PC client. But at the core of it, a game that has a decent combat, minus the iffy controls, a really good gacha system, a generous system, and a story that a lot of people seem to actually really enjoy. Not so much me. Chapter 1 was horrible, in my opinion, but a lot of people enjoy that, and that's subjective at the end of the day. But it's objective that the game had a pretty bad launch, right? And the developers have acknowledged that. And let's get into what they've got to say here, because this looks good on the surface of things. And if we're led to believe this is how it is, then it's not great for global, for EN, for anybody outside of CN. So, and that's if it stays like this. We don't know just yet. But let's just read this post here from the Black Beacon devs, and then we'll actually get into why it's a particular problem for the rest of the world then, shall we? Apology and compensation announcement for the launch of Black Beacon. Dear Foresight, this is the logistics teams of the Zhuang Club. With the deepest guilt and uneasiness, we must solemnly apologise to all the Foresights who are looking forward to Black Beacon. Due to our lack of preparation, we have caused black screen problems, login abnormalities, and other problems that seriously affect the experience. We are very sorry that when we first officially meet you, we have brought unnecessary troubles to all the Foresights who are looking forward to Black Beacon. Again, as I say, this feels very sincere, doesn't it? Owning up to responsibility, which a lot of developers will skirt around this, the onus on the responsibility, and just kind of attempt to placate people without. This feels sincere, is what I'm saying. So this is definitely not the way we expect to meet. All members of the logistics team bow deeply to all the Foresights to apologise. At present, the problem has been improved after emergency repairs by technical personnel. We will continue to optimise it in the future to ensure the gaming experience of all Foresights. Now, it does seem that they have been working hard on getting the game running a little better. A lot of the issues in regards to getting into the game seems to have been fixed. The black screens, the login issues that a lot of people, because like literally for about 24 hours, a big portion of the player base just couldn't get into the game, could they? So, shout out to the devs for working on that, right? And this, as I say, it's nice to see developers being transparent like this as well. For the subsequent adverse effects caused by the improper handling of the above problems, we will compensate in the following ways. Okay, 5-star permanent character self-selected treasure box. Insane, right? Insane. Lost time key times 20. Time-seeking key times 10. And here we once again solemnly apologise to all Foresights. We are ashamed that we have not brought a good enough gaming experience to all the Foresight players. We are willing to exchange 12 points of sincerity for a chance to restart the first encounter. Awesome apology there, right? Awesome apology. Taking responsibility, they're messed up. Acknowledging all of the issues and then offering out some rewards for the players for these issues. Now, even though I've been incredibly frustrated with the launch of the game, probably more than a lot of people actually, and not so much for like the black screen issues and the login issues, mainly for like the controls and the performance initially, although some of the performance was on myself because I'd installed the LD player a couple of weeks ago, and LD player messes with settings in Google that really doesn't work well with the Google Play beta. I mean, in Windows, sorry, that really doesn't work well with the Google Play beta. So after switching some of those back, it ran a lot better, but still definitely not perfect, right? That was the two biggest things for me. And the fact that even when the game was full screen, when I tried to play over the shoulder and you're moving around, the mouse would end up going out of the screen, and it's like, bro, in 2025, really? But anyway, I digress, right? This is good. This is good to see from the developers. There's a big problem. There's an elephant in the room. at the moment, this is just for CN, which sucks because everybody suffered these problems and not everybody is getting the compensation or even the apology. It's kind of like, for me, it stings that the apology seems to be directed specifically at CN and not just the rewards, which is a bit of a shame because, the game's released globally. If you want to sell the game to global, I think, you should acknowledge that everybody was affected by these things. Now, of course, this might change. This is just what we know now. We can only report on what we know now. And we know now that CN's been apologised to and CN is getting some compensation as well. And again, this isn't the first game to do this. And I totally understand developers, especially in the gacha space, acknowledging and maybe even listening to some of the issues that CN has, right? Because typically it's the largest player base, spender base of a lot of these games. Right now, it's not always the case, but for a lot of these games, the majority of the money comes from CN. So I totally understand companies maybe listening to the irks of some of the community a little bit more, maybe deciding to make tweaks to story, tweaks to whatever it might be in the game, right? It makes sense. You're going to listen to the majority of your player base. But I think when you've messed up, to then apologise and compensate only that player base, that seems really shitty. That's really, really stinky. And I hope that this is just us as content creators, us as the internet, Reddit, Twitter, jumping on the bandwagon a little bit too early. And we're wrong, right? I'm totally cool with being able to say, you know what, hey, we jumped the gun a little bit there. But at the moment, all we can see is CN getting compensated and having an apology. As I say, it almost feels a little bit more, I feel a little bit more slighted that they're getting the apology personally. As I say, I wasn't expecting the rewards because things happen on the launches of games, and there's a lot of games that you will never get any sort of compensation for. You'll get we've made a hotfix, the game's running good now, especially in the West. This is where I say, when you get these sort of, what feels like really sincere apologies from Eastern devs sometimes, I kind of appreciate it because, like I say, some Western devs will have a terrible launch, put out a statement, hotfix, game's fixed, enjoy, and they say, oh, okay, we're not gonna acknowledge that. There's some acknowledgement here, and of course, there's some compensation as well. We're only for CN at the moment, so it's like, it's even worse almost, So hopefully this changes. Hopefully Blackbeak can see that this is a frustration and respond in kind, or maybe they just haven't got round to responding or at least making a statement for EN yet. That's all we can hope for, at least anyway, right? And if not, I think this is going to turn a lot of people off the game. On Twitter, some people are incredibly frustrated. I saw Sticks tweeting about it, saw the responses. I've saw it on Reddit as well. If you can look here, people are talking about PGR all over again. People talking about maybe wanting to stop playing the game. Global is once again being published as a social experiment, a sloppy second. Another reason why simping for a company is never a good thing. This is true. You should never simp for a company. They're panning hard to the biggest market, which is somewhat understandable. Agree. Going so far as to make a smaller market does not, going so far as to make sure your smaller market does not get the same courtesy is downright insulting. I can't speak. I agree with this 100%, As I say, I totally agree with that. Somewhat pandering to your main customer base. Totally get it. But then kind of insulting and ignoring the rest of your customer base when they've suffered the same problems. That is actually, agree with this, insulting. Play the damn games as long as you enjoy them. You can't even spend a bit of money. So if you choose not to, actually, I think, wasn't there an issue? I think there was some store issues as well, apparently, at the start. I don't know. I might be wrong on that though as well. Yeah, this is the mindset. People raise shift up for Destiny Child and look at what they did with Nikkei. Sure, it's arguably generous and all that. People look at the past, catch people compared to PGR with Wua. Then they're different to begin with. PGR is more power creep, it's niche, gacha, and so on. I think they're referencing PGR because I think, well, these are ex-PGR devs, and PGR had some issues in the past. I think, wasn't it Honkai Impact 3rd as well that had to stop doing the bunny skin for EM because CN wasn't happy about it, which is crazy if you think about it. I don't know how true that is because I never really played Honkai Impact 3rd, but I've heard that through the grapevine, so I'll take that with a pinch of salt. Let me know if that's actually true. But yeah. I'm curious about that. How does CN react to this stuff? Is it elitism from the superior region? Ambivalent because it doesn't affect them? What's the ratio? Fuck the outsiders to this. Hey, it isn't cool. I'd be interested in that. I should imagine like any region, it's probably split. You know, you probably have got the player bases like, you know, China #1. Some people being like, don't care, I'm all right, Jack. And then you probably would have a part of the player base as well that does think that man, this is kind of crappy, really. Because if you want the game to thrive, you want it to thrive everywhere, surely. Well, that's the way I look at things anyway. I want everybody to enjoy the things I enjoy. But I know not everybody thinks like that. So, you know, you can definitely see that people are not happy about this as well. This is a fair point here as well. Adding context here, global launch was roughly 2 weeks before CN, JP, Korea. Is the game even out in JP and Korea yet? I wasn't too sure if it was. The game was and still is a bug-riddled mess. Only app to make my iPhone 16 crash, not just app crash. Device pink screen and had to restart it. This is a smartphone game, by the way, with no official PC client. That is true, but at the same time, the game was advertised to be on the Google Play beta. So in a sense, that's them saying, look, this is for PC. We haven't made a PC port, but we're working with the Google Play beta to have an emulator, which, you know, it would have been nice if they'd just allowed it to be emulated right off the bat. I don't know if you can get it on the other emulators just yet. So, yeah, again, these are all issues. As I said, I've looked on Twitter as well. People are not happy about these. And it makes sense, right? It definitely makes sense. If this stays like this and the global player base gets ignored, I can understand people being like, you're right, you know what, okay, whatever. There's plenty of other games to play. I guess this isn't just going to be one of them. Now, it's probably not going to stop me logging in and playing the game here and there, although it's not a main game for me, right? Because it's just got too many issues for it to even be considered one of my main games. But I think it's a fun little game, and I think if they can get all the bugs fixed and the issues and the control scheme and the issue with it not being totally full screen, I'd probably have a lot more fun with it. But the game's got problems, and this is just kind of like rubbing salt into the wound, isn't it? Of the dev saying, oh, we're sorry, and patting CN on the head while Global's over here starving in the cold, and they're just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's not nice. It's not nice. Let me know what you think about this, guys. Is this going to stop you playing the game? Or are you just frustrated, but you know, you enjoy the game enough to continue on? I'd love to know. I would love to know. Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? It's not so much the compensation itself for me. You know, it's the actual sentiment behind it, right? It's the principle. You know, like I say, I'm almost even more insulted by the bowing. We're sorry, China. We're sorry, CN. We apologize for fucking the game up. And then, you know, silence on the Western Front. It's a bit of a shame, and a little bit stinky. But guys, let me know what you think in the comment section about this. Hopefully we get some updated news. Hopefully Global get the same treatment as well. Let's give them a little bit of time here, a little bit of credit. We'll allow to see what happens, but we can only report what we know right now. Maybe in 48 hours or a few days, we'll be, you know what, we jumped the gun. We went a little bit too hard. But I think it's worth noting that at the moment, CN is getting apologized to. CN is getting compensation. Global is getting ignored. That's just how it is at the moment. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, and I will see you all in the next one. Ta-ra.